allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Steve, anything you'd like to have removed from the consent agenda?
No, sir.
You need it off. And fiscal business, Russell?
Nothing for today, sir.
Wow. Public comment. We have somebody here. You want to come up and state your name and...
My name is Stephanie Roeder, and I live at 8939 Red Line, 5 Points Road. And I just wanted to come and talk to the township trustees so you were aware of it. There's been some things going on with the corner down there. You know, there's a big roundabout that occurred, and it did affect my property, also my mom's property across the street. She's 90, lived here 67 years. We have been dealing with Warren County as far as the agreement on the land that was taken and that kind of thing. We understand the roundabout was important. The schoolhouse that was there was on a piece of property. They offered us a land swap as part of our negotiations. We tried to accept that offer, and it was pulled back. And we had also talked to, we were talking to them about trying to use the old schoolhouse as an educational center for special needs students. I had a chance to talk to Mr. Moodisball about this. Also, the mayor of Springboro also contacted me. Come to find out, he also used to live in the house, and his grandparents owned the house. So it did have a lot of history to it. We didn't realize at the time when they agreed to tear it down that it was how old it was. It was 1856, and we did not realize that. And so I had gotten together with some retired teachers. They were willing to volunteer their time to work with special needs students. I'm an art teacher and a regular ed teacher here in Springboro, and we wanted to volunteer our time, and I wanted to put my money into this old schoolhouse to redo that house. I actually talked to the Historical Society in Springboro. I ended up getting their endorsement, which was sent to the county commissioners. I also talked to Warren County Historical Society. They also sent an endorsement for us to redo that home. We had talked to them about trying to do this. That landowner adjacent to this property is, we did not realize, somehow related to Warren County officials that are pretty high up. We didn't realize this until we got into this. I just want you to be able to look at it and see if this is something that needs to be looked at. The offer was presented to us in good faith. We wanted to accept it. The schoolhouse is gone.
You had an offer to purchase it?
No, we had an offer as a land swap as payment for the land that they took. And we tried to accept it. And we were told that the offer has been removed. We asked, why was that done? No answer was given. To my understanding, you know, we've had construction on 3 sides of our property for over a year. They've been negotiating this for 3 years. This is not a difficult thing to look at, to know that we've been affected dramatically in the amount of our land. My mom has part of her property taken. She's 90 years old, lived here her whole life.
Okay. Take your time.
The mayor offered to call and talk to one of the commissioners, thank you, which he did that morning. And it was due to be raised on Wednesday the following week. That Thursday, I'm sitting in my house. The engineer is on the main road closed, talking to a gentleman in a red truck. 2 gentlemen, actually. They sit there for a while. The engineer goes away. About that time, that gentleman gets out of pulls over to the truck in front of the schoolhouse. He gets out, goes over, gets in a backhoe, I'm inside the house, he looks right at our house. We had 3 news crews coming on Sunday with over 120 people coming to rally in the road closed to try to save that house for those kids. One of the commissioners was called early in the morning. At around 3:35, he goes out, gets in the backhoe, and starts to rip off the top of that old schoolhouse. That was benefiting no one.
One of the commissioners did that?
No, one of the commissioners was called that morning. I don't know how it happened. I'm not making any judgment on that. I'm just presenting the information to you. I was told by an employee of Dunrobin Associates, the one that negotiated with us. I asked when the offer was pulled, what can happen to this land if you're not making a negotiation with us? If you want to let us accept it, what happens to this land? You can't make a park. It's got too much traffic there. We don't need any more traffic. We need no house there. Because we all went down to this community and said, please don't put a home there. It's wrong. We don't need any more construction. They all agreed. They offered us money. It's not about the money. It's about the land and the use of the property and the schoolhouse. The schoolhouse is gone, but it was pulled down 6 days earlier. It was due to be pulled down on Wednesday. It was pulled down on Thursday after a county commissioner was notified. She said she was on board. I walked over and talked to the neighbor who happened to be adjacent to this property, and she informed me that a county commissioner was looking out after them. This doesn't seem above board to me in any aspect. And so we've lost property. That property to that adjacent owner was avoided. We went down and asked for that road to be moved down to the other property line. They informed us they couldn't do that because it would go through this adjacent property's land. So it was avoided. We understood. We didn't say anything. At the time, we didn't know the relationship. We're asking you to look at it. And this land can
I
still
don't
be
know that
used.
we have, let me stop. I don't know if we have any authority to look at it, first of all. However, I think that we could probably ask for an explanation of why all this occurred and have our attorney write a letter, because certainly what you've told me doesn't sound fair, especially if you were offered it and then they pulled it.
Right.
I don't understand that either, but there may be a reason that we don't know about. However, all we can do is ask that. We can ask them the questions.
Okay.
We'd be glad to do that.
Well, and Mr. McGarry, their lawyer, Warren County's lawyer, informed our lawyer at this point that the land would not be sold and the land would not be developed on.
Okay.
And we were told that, but from Dunrobin Associates, the lady that we were dealing with, when I asked specifically, if this land is not developed, and what happens to it? She goes, well, 2 things happen. They can either sell it, because they don't really want to hang on to the property, because it costs them money to maintain it, or it can be made a park, which we know that's not feasible in that location, or it could be negotiated with you, which, they pulled back the offer, or it could be given to the adjacent landowner, which again happens to be someone who's associated to. And again, they've lost nothing. So we're asking the question, and I've been down to commissioners' meetings. I went through all the steps of the proper procedure. How the system's supposed to work. And now I'm here asking you to please ask the question.
Well, we can do that. Regardless of the answer, I can tell you that we don't have the authority to change anything. We just,
Right.
if you look at what our responsibilities are, they are not that, but I'd certainly like to know the answer to some of his questions.
Could you tell us who the Warren County official is that is associated with it?
Austin Dawson is the deputy auditor. He's the son of the person that lives there. judge, who happens to be his father-in-law, and Linda Odo, Warren County Recorder. Now, I'm not accusing anyone of anything, I'm asking the questions because I don't see how they offered us a monetary value for our property, which was, in my mind, very low, considering I paid $10,000 for the corner property, which they dissected and tore in half, which I understand they needed it. I understand that. We had no problem with that, but that was purchased 21 years ago. And they offered us $21,000 for that parcel and another part that was also dissected. So there's 3 parcels on that property, and 2 of them have been cut. And both of those lots were able to put a pool on. We cannot put a pool on either one of those properties now. They've eliminated 16 trees that line the yard, and there's culverts and there's a huge water main that's going right down the side of our property. We can mow it, but we can't plant anything, we can't do anything with it. And, I just want them to be aware of, this has changed the dynamics of what our property is worth, and we just want you to be aware of it.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming in and talking to us about it.
And I do want you to know that property would go to us the way it originally would have planned. I went down to commissioners' meetings where Warren County made people stand by what they had offered to them. Sat in the meetings, I've watched them do that. I'm asking them to do that for the taxpayer too. I don't think that's out of the realm of what their possibilities can be. So, I appreciate you hearing me out today.
Thank you. Well, before you go, I should make sure that, give us your name and address and phone number so we can get a hold of you, please.
8939?
Yes, red line 5.
What's your phone number? That's phone
937-367-1856.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. New business administration, we have resolution 5336, resolution authorizing the township administrator to select the lowest best bid for masonry incorporated to excavate. Lease the finish amounts to $79,500 and dispense with the second reading.
Yeah, this is the masonry work on the knee wall, for a better, lack of a better term, for the road maintenance building. You'll notice in the bid packet that they gave us, that they actually did both this and the police department. It's my understanding that they wanted to leave that open, just in case something happens with the masonry market. But we'll probably be bringing that forward separately as bid. But this is just for the vehicle maintenance building.
Any questions about 5336? Is there a motion to approve? Second?
Mr. Musbaugh?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. And anything else under administration at this time?
Nothing for the official business today.
Okay. Fire District, have a recommendation to renew and pay the annual subscription for the Fire District's web-based asset management apparatus checklist.
This is our annual subscription. This is the software that we use to do our daily truck checks, and then we track all of our assets with it, with facilities and apparatus and such.
Okay, very good. So motion to approve the renewal of this annual subscription at a cost of $6,174.85.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Musbaugh?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. Anything else, Chief? Road and Park, we have a recommendation to purchase and apply our annual transverse crack sealing materials from DJL Supply at a cost of $11,250.
Yeah, so what we're doing is finishing up Country Road, what we started last year, and then I have them go around and check all the roads and grade them, and we're going to fill in a few of the real bad ones throughout the township.
Okay, they can get all that done, that's good.
Yep.
Okay, is there a motion to authorize the road district to enter into this agreement of $11,250?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Musbaugh?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. Wally, nothing?
No, sir.
Okay. All good then.
everything's fairly quiet.
Now you did it.
Our investigators working diligently with investigators all over southwest Ohio, and bringing thefts to the wrapping. Things were quiet over the weekend, so that's a good thing.
I saw it on Channel 12 or Channel 9, I'm not sure, news. They talked about it being in Mason, and I knew that part of that, I think that when we had that chase up here that ended up where the gentleman, the officer got hurt, that kind of all stemmed from up in this part of the country, didn't it?
Yeah, this has been an area-wide problem. It's all of the burbs and northern Kentucky and a bunch of young men without direction that find a thrill in stealing and running from the police. So.
I saw something on, I think, Dayton News, I think they were interviewing Springboro Police about the gangs coming up and...
Need to make sure we
Yeah.
take our keys out of the car and lock it up.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to encourage people to do, is keep things locked up and secured and valuables out of your cars, because that's what they're looking for, soft targets.
Not just now, but always.
Always, yeah. They know in the suburbs they can find that, so.
Well, I haven't had my car stolen from my home because I left the keys in it. I take my house off the car.
There you
It
go.
took me a while.
I've got a car actually parked with the keys in, hoping
Yeah. So that's unfortunate, but the times we live in. Planning and zoning.
Nothing to
Consent agenda, we've had a chance to take a look at it. Anybody have any changes for the consent agenda? Okay, already asked that. Staff updates.
Gotta pass the consent agenda.
Oh, yes, a motion to approve consent.
So moved.
Thank you. Yeah, second.
Ms. Mearsclaw?
Yeah.
Ms. Wade?
Okay. Okay, now staff updates.
Just hard at work on a number of different fronts, most the board is copied on. I get our meeting today, Chief and I'll go over our draft appropriations budget for next year, so those are ongoing, but, keep it up.
I see our employee has moved to UC Hospital.
Yeah.
And,
He's shown a little bit of improvement over the weekend, but I understood this morning that he's going to have another procedure done today, so just keep your fingers crossed.
On that note, one of our firefighters' fathers been on a ventilator for a few weeks, and they're going to have to make a couple decisions probably today or tomorrow. And they're not expecting to get
scary stuff. Okay. Thank you very much. Anything else? Anybody have anything? Okay, so motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yeah.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah.